What is good? Truth and transparency. Again, sorry for the delay. I wanted to have a recap here for those of you guys that watch in all other countries, time zones, all those good things. Again, sorry for the delay, but the work product is worth it. Again, I want to thank the moderators for keeping you guys company. Same thing with the subscribers and the members. You guys like it when I have live scheduled. You guys get to have a live chat just up there just to talk back and forth. So again, welcome. Those of you guys that missed last night, you missed it, but I'm sure it was for a great reason. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play this a couple parts here, the beginning intro, and then I'm going to play myself. But actually, if you guys have any questions to break it on down, I try to cater to all of you guys, whether you are, in the United States, outside of the country, different time zones. But truth and transparency, we appreciate you guys. So Miss Potts in the house. Again, all of those mods, love that they're here. Consider becoming a member because being a member of this channel, you're actually helping out a new case that they've recently said, yes, I would be involved in due to seeing the work, believing in Miss Vargas, who brought it to our attention when she talked about Joe Cannon getting to start going through files and, in fact, going to release the 12-minute intro. You guys can see it first here right now today, as well as tonight, when we'll be able to interview Gabriella Vargas a little bit on it, as well as Joe Cannon himself. But the Midwest Innocence Project took it on, and we're about to close it out. So he is innocent. But more importantly, there was an 89-year-old male that was murdered. And I believe that he deserves justice. This happened in 1993. It's been 30 years. Can you imagine being in prison for 30 years for something you did not do? And I was so impressed with the amount of information and the photographs and the videos and whether or not it was turned over to Joe and his defense team, which we'll get to in the 10-part series documentary breakdown with Miss Vargas. But the amount of actual paperwork and stuff that was available to be able to put this together, it's a lot. So again, welcome. 30 years, I guess. But here you go, check it out. This is an intro from last night.
Spoke to News Nation's Ashley Banfield, and this wasn't just about how heartbroken she is or even about the suspect, Bryan Kohberger. No, she has a bizarre connection to Kohberger's lawyer that should really lead to a lot of questions. Kohberger's public defender, Ann Taylor, who we've seen in court with Kohberger, withdrew as the lawyer for Kara Northington, Xana's mother, when she agreed to take the Kohberger case. Yes, Kohberger's lawyer withdrew from her case to defend the man accused of killing her daughter.
Right here, you guys are going to get the breakdown for me. Ann Taylor, you guys do know that she just got straight up trolled by mainstream media, right? Talk about, we think trolling, oh God, someone comes in live chat, acts like a fool. Well, Ann Taylor, in my opinion, got straight up trolled by mainstream media when they aired an unvetted story that featured one of the victim's mothers. I don't know how much, worse it could possibly be, but that's a straight up troll. Ann Taylor got trolled by mainstream media, tried to pressure people into, dropping this case. Why? Because Ann Taylor knows what goes on, has won because of what's gone on, because she's exposed things in the past. And she's in the past teamed up with the investigator that she has right now that she brought in to do this case. Yeah, Ann Taylor straight up trolled.
Controlled substance. Taylor withdrew on January 5th, the day a judge appointed her as Kohberger's public defender for the murders of Xana, Madison, Kaylee, and Ethan. Now, Xana's mom spoke with Ashley about how she felt learning the news that her attorney had sort of switched sides, so to speak.
I'm heartbroken because I trusted her. She pretended that she was wanting to help me, and to find that out that she's representing him, I can't even convey how betrayed I feel.
Northington goes on to say that no one had notified her Taylor was no longer in her case, but she found out from a friend who saw it on Reddit. Says she hasn't signed any kind of formal waiver giving approval for the switch, and even says she'd given Taylor her power of attorney. Now, Taylor obviously made a choice and withdrew from Xana's mother's case for the bigger case, Kohberger and the murder. Sure, small town, limited pool of public defenders, and even fewer who are qualified to handle a death penalty case. I get it. But it doesn't change the reality that a woman who trusted her attorney, who was depending on her attorney, was abandoned by her to instead represent the guy accused of killing her daughter. Why is that okay without her consent? Joining me now is Tim Kressback, a former Idaho public defender who served as death penalty qualified.
Oh, sorry. This is where I just loved it, because this is actually in real time. We get to hear he's a former Idaho public defender, okay? And he is basically what comes out as, you guys had him as a guest, and they totally dismissed because he was like, I don't even think Ann Taylor knows this person. Listen to it. I mean, just totally gets dismissed, though, completely.
Know enough about that attorney-client relationship. I'm not even sure that Ann Taylor ever met with her, or
we don't even know that answer. I don't even know if Ann Taylor met with her.
Learned any confidences, and
that's not the way she's characterizing it.
That's not the way she's characterizing it, as she's what, in a vehicle while there's a warrant out for her arrest, and she is on substances.
The process will be played out, Dan. There's so much in this case that we don't know. Just a month ago, we were saying that the Moscow Police Department was the most incompetent police department in the country, and then a month later, hailed as geniuses.
Oh, gosh. I had to laugh at that, because the former Idaho prosecutor says, last month you guys were saying how they're just so incompetent, and now all of a sudden we want to, give everybody purple medals over there. So I had to leave that in there.
Dan, there's so much in this case that we don't know. Just a month ago, we were saying that the Moscow Police Department was the most incompetent police department in the country, and then a month later, hailed as geniuses. Let's let the process work.
I guess
I'm complaining about.
All he wants to do is say, let's let the process work out, and they just start playing the outro. They're like, okay, yeah. I mean, oh shit.
I was taking Mom at her word. I'm so sorry we didn't get more time with you.
I'm so
Thanks
sorry.
for joining us more on Ashley Banfield.
Couldn't let you keep talking about that.
Thank you for watching.
Again, guys, that's a really important date, though. That was January 26th. Meanwhile, Ann Taylor's already pumping out, like I said, she's pumping out discovery requests, and she's asking for very specific things because she knows what they do. And so what's the combat back? We need Ann Taylor the fuck off this case, because she's going to bust it all up. And, that's, the paper trail shows. Again, mainstream media, if you're not going to, I'll bring anybody out on this channel and talk to them and debate with them, or let them speak whatever they want, and then ask them why they feel that way. And but I'm never afraid to have anybody come up here and tell me, something different, and have like proof of it, like, but they just outroed him. He literally just got on and they just outroed him. So I don't know what it is what it is. Again, during January and May of 2023, Ann Taylor was pleading with Backseat Bill and Judge to get their hands on the discovery, the actual material, though, that mattered in this case, not your gigs of crap. Ann Taylor has done eight supplemental requests. Eight. It's a lot. And Ann Taylor's doing 8 balls over here, trying to get their attention. I'm just kidding. Again, guys, how are you? What questions do you guys have? We're going to break it down. I'm not going to be on that long, but you can join me later tonight. I'll be on at 9. In fact, I haven't been sleeping. I've been working nonstop. Ann Taylor is no stranger, like I said, to law enforcement corruption, or law enforcement's, maybe a better word is their inability to investigate without tunnel vision or sloppy loose ended work product. So much so that she immediately went out to the crime scene and hired experts as well as a private investigator. I mean, this was immediate. This was like she knew. She knew. She's like, oh, if these fucking assholes are the ones that are investigating, we gotta get out there. For example, it was a
less than an hour ago.
We were here
scene. And about 5 plainclothes investigators, we don't know if they're local, state, federal, they were inside, and we saw a lot of activity inside the home, and the home was lit up. So we were able to peek in some of the windows, but we saw those men inside the home in the 2 particular rooms where the murders took place. We did not see them leaving with any materials. I asked them a couple of times, why are they back? They did not answer me. They pulled away in 2 vehicles. One.
That guy has his pockets filled. What does that guy have in his pockets? Who wants to carry a bunch of shit in their pockets? Nobody does. Nobody does. You have your wallet. Okay, that's it. But this guy has pockets that are loaded up. We put this out back when it came out, in December. And something that's always just stuck with me is, how did they get in and how did they leave? And then who locked up, like who unlocked the house? Who put the seal back over the door? Who was in charge of this? Who okayed them to go in there? But why? What? I want someone to come out on a broadcast and say how whatever happened on December 9th, that it was 25 days later. Why? For what purpose? You have the crime scene photos. What do you need? Do you need more crime scene photos? If you think about it, like, what is the purpose of truly going back in there? Yes, I've hit a hole in one. So to me, it's not who these people are. It's why. It doesn't matter if they were God, in my opinion. What are you doing? Why do you need to go in there? Hey, Dakota, go check out my December 10th, 11th, and 12th episodes in 2022. That's when I covered it. Just again, it doesn't matter who these people are, in my opinion. It matters why are you even going in there. In my opinion, it doesn't matter if you're God. What could you possibly be doing in there that you need?
One had a Washington State plate, the other had an Idaho plate, but that is all we can tell you. But we did see a lot of activity. This house was lit up for nearly an hour. They were inside. We don't know why. Nothing seemed to be removed. But as you know, Ashley, yesterday, a lot of the kids' belongings were removed by Moscow police to be returned to their families.
So I'm just watching these guys as they're walking by you. Were you asking them questions and were they effectively just ignoring you? Did they say hello? Did they say anything at all?
Not a peep. And I asked them specifically, why are you here tonight? Why are you here tonight? They did not acknowledge me. So certainly they were on a mission and they left without saying a word.
So, Nancy, I just want to point out the video that we're seeing right now. Let's blow this up full because, and let's replay that if we can too. This is the investigators walking out of the kitchen area into a hallway and then walking towards the living room. So there they are. It looks like they're emerging from the kitchen area, walking towards the front of the house. That grassy sign that's on the wall right there, that's the good vibes sign. There's actually 2 of those.
Yep.
Maybe an FBI field office from the Idaho area. But did you ask if in the game it just screams FBI to me, and maybe an FBI field office?
Full of public defenders and even fewer.
The other thing I thought was interesting is right here, right there.
Nothing to see here?
Yeah, they would give me nothing. And I did call Moscow police, no answer, no response.
Hey, 911, there's people in your crime scene. You might want to come out here. You know, if that was like a real 911 call, or like, hey, there's people in the crime scene, like, you know, aren't you going to get out there, like dispatch? But remember, they started using another security company. And what I noticed here is that the security company that's in the driveway there. But again, who unlocked the door to let them in? Who then locked the door? Did they put the seal back on? I mean, all of this but why? So unnecessary.
So no
and if you already have
explanation for any of this, but they were clearly inside on a mission.
I mean, 25 days of processing a crime scene, to me, it's something I haven't really seen, unless it's, you know, a massive school shooting. That could take 25 days.
You know you're onto something when you can confuse Ashley Banfield and she doesn't have something to say. 25, you know.
Because there's just so many victims and so much territory and so many markings. This one is a really unusual complexity. I can only think it's because there's just so many samples in that house over the years and over the times that the kids have been there that they just...
Hey guys, and then come to find out, they didn't even like, we don't know who 2 of the male unknown. So like, you're hearing, like, think about when you want to go back and you want to listen to these reports and you hear about them now, and it's like, wait a second, there's 2 unknown male DNAs. Well, for all we know, it's these motherfuckers. So I don't know. Who knows?
I'm still shocked they only have 113 pieces of evidence. Nancy?
Me and you both, Ashley, 113 pieces of evidence. That's it. 113 pieces. Samples of whatever it may be that you're testing. Then I can't believe they only have 113 pieces. Well, they already got their man, Ash. They already got their man. What you talking about? That's why there's only 113. Like, that doesn't matter.
Thank you for getting that video and for being the eagle eye and spotting that. Really do appreciate it. Thanks so much.
And we should point out that a lot of the forensic evidence went to the state lab, and that is still being tested. You know, the blood is the blood mixed DNA, is the killer's DNA being tested. So there's a lot of information and evidence that's being tested now. And the Moscow Police Department kept stressing that, you know, we're not releasing a lot of information because we're protecting the integrity of the investigation, a term we keep hearing. So
that's my snow job right there. That's snow job.
A lot of
understandable.
So Ashley Banfield actually goes on to say that there is no way that this killer would not have, like, you know, skin cells. So she goes on to say that at the end, but I had left that for another day. Because everybody has said this. Everybody has said that there's going to be, you know, trace. There's no way that that the killer didn't leave something behind. This is 4 stabbings. So we fast forward to what this episode was about, which was, this was law enforcement building their case, one without any notes, memos, or work product. They're building their case to cover for themselves, right? And I said, well, now let me show you my case, the one that I built with common sense, logic, and the documents that we have been given to include all of the sources or information that has been published to date.
You know, pretended that she was wanting to help me, and to find that out that she's representing him, I can't even convey how betrayed I feel.
how much money did mainstream media pay the mother of the victim to lie to the world? How much money do you think that she got paid to say that? Well, if I'm Ann Taylor, I would fucking subpoena her. I want to see her bank records. I want to know how much money she received in any type of form. Let's talk about it. What'd you get? And I'm sorry, but this is crazy. This is crazy. But how'd you find her? How did anybody find her? And then got her to go on camera when there's a warrant out for her arrest. You think that I'm going to do that? I'll be like, hell no, you could give me 5 Gs. You can give me 10 Gs, $100. What do you think it was? But to go out on camera and use a device, and you're like, being tracked if like they really want to get to you and you have this warrant out. But think about that. How desperate to what? Was it to get that story, or was it that mainstream media was actually helping out the police because, hey, we need to put some pressure on Ann to drop this case? It's so sad. It's so sad because nobody should have ever approached a victim's mother and even put that and presented that to her. And then, of course, you're going to hear like, we didn't do anything like that. Well, let's see what she says. Maybe if she was asked that question, because I sure as shit would want to know if somebody tried to, snowball my career. I would want to know, like, I would want to ask questions about that, because that's in a sense what was happening here. You guys are basically going after Ann Taylor's career. Like, that's some serious shit, if you ask me. And none of it was fucking true. Right? A power of attorney. She says, yeah, I gave her power of attorney. Like, we forget those things that are just like, wait. And everybody was like, oh my God, wow, what a piece of shit Ann Taylor is. And it's like, no, wait, Ann Taylor's not the piece of shit. They're all lying. But mainstream media knew it, and they let him come on their fucking channel and do it and say it. And I believe paid for it. And they're going to say, we don't pay for our sources. Well, then why would she ever go on? What would Kara get out of that? Unless she said, well, here, it's going to help your daughter, not have a really good defense for the killer. Like, who's going to be conveying that message to her? Who's just hanging out with her in the passenger seat that's saying, yeah, this is why you should do this? Somebody would have to tell her that. If you don't think there's any money exchange, why would she do that? Why would Kara do that? Just, where's people's common sense? I swear it's just non-existent anymore. But that's why you guys are here, because you guys have it. You guys have common sense, and you have compassion, and you have brains. So let's get to it. I'm going to pull up the episode from last night because I want to save my mouth, my voice. So let's see. As I'm doing that, though, since you guys are here, I want you to know why I was late to our date today. Let's see if it's done. Late. Okay, let's see. This is why I was late to our date. At approximately 10:53 a.m., Detective Grimshaw arrived at 711 South 9th Street, where he was met by Officer Gaddis, the responding officer to the original call. Grimshaw met with Francis Murphy. Grimshaw spoke briefly with Francis Murphy at the scene, in his squad car, in front of the residence. Francis Murphy advised Grimshaw that apparently the night before, on a Friday night, at about 4:45 p.m., he, Francis, Scott Snyder, and Orly went to the auction at the auction barn on Agency Street. And at about 6 p.m., Francis told Grimshaw that he left, and Orly and Scott stayed at the auction. He stated he left to go meet Mary Lou Capps to play bingo at St. John's Church, and he left playing bingo at approximately 9:45 p.m. that night. arriving to residence 711 South 9th Street. Detective Grimshaw was advised by Captain Stewart and Detective Cassidy that there was a victim 80. All right. Yep. Make sure you guys catch me later at 9 o'clock for that's a little sneak peek at. That's actual 1993 footage of the crime scene. Ms. Vargas has done a wonderful job with the Midwest Innocence Project, and we're going to try to help close that case out and bring home Joe Cannon. Talk about a wild case, but I think I found something. So you know me, I like to dig for the little the nuggets. So join me tonight, 9 o'clock. Ms. Vargas will be on, as well as Joe Cannon, and as well as this intro 12-minute trailer for you guys. It's like a 10-part, and it's wild, but that's actual 1993 footage. And it goes into the house. It goes through the crime scene, and it's taken 2 hours after, because the guy was not dead yet. So it was, he had died 12 days later. I think it was that 17th. So yeah, about 9 days later. Anyways, it's in Iowa. So let's go ahead and do this though. Make that bigger. It's off of common sense, logic, and 11:15. The first thing is that I mentioned yesterday was Brian's cell phone number. 509. That's a Washington number. Okay. Yes, Mike Droppin, it is. And actually, I use a little bit of the OJ stuff in one of the episodes. So, yes, it is. But the case was from 1993. He's been in prison for 30 years. He did not commit murder. 100. But let's talk about it. Brian's cell phone number. He got a new cell phone number allegedly in June. Why wouldn't you just get a new phone? Why would you get a new number? Or was it did Brian was it a work, number? Why not keep the same phone, or same phone number if you don't want to get the same? If you have to get a new phone because it's old, but why are you changing your phone number? So go ahead and take a look at that PCA, and you could see that the 509 area code is Washington. Still haven't heard publicly from anybody. But on 11:15, they don't even make any search warrants. They're not putting any search warrants in. They're just still neighborhood canvassing. Again, no search warrants. It wouldn't be till 11/16/2022. So if they're interviewing people, you got 11:13, you got 11:14, you got 11:15. Also, they have the crime scene forensic people there taking. All right. So what I went ahead and did is I took all these search warrants, put them all in order, based on to show what they deemed important. So on 11:13, it was the crime. 11:14, they're doing canvassing, they're doing interviewing, they're in shock, they're ISP lab, getting stuff over there. 11:15, still no search warrants issued. 11:16 was the first press conference that they went on television. And at that first press conference, we saw they didn't know anything. We don't even know that answer. They tell us that. And you guys looking at now what we know, they didn't know anything. They have no search warrants. They have nothing. I love the fast forward mode, by the way. If you ever want to watch my lives, people are like, oh, Lana, your lives are so... No, just put me on 1.7 and it'll be like 45 minutes. You'll be flying and you'll get it all. So yeah, anybody that says, oh my God, you have such long lives. No, put me on fast forward, change up the speed and enjoy it and laugh, especially when I'm laughing in times 7 mode. But so those first search warrants, Facebook, Insta, cell towers, stuff like that, normal stuff. 11:17, no movement. 11:18 is when receiving the Linda Lane and the Ring camera footage, and that they made a note of it. And the reason we know this is because of what Ann Taylor and her colleague Jay had said in during an oral argument. So that they had made a note of glancing at the footage. Well, their pictures doing their swabbing for everybody's asking. So then here we go. What you guys are looking at first here, chronological order, 1116. These are your very first search warrants. 1116. So whoa, gets blown. Like, sorry, Fry, he didn't know anything about the case. Okay. The first issue to go get like this knife and to find out who purchased this knife is Walmart. It's actually Walmart that they actually go and obtain to get the search warrant, but they don't serve the search warrant until 1126. Okay. So you go and obtain the search warrant on 1121 and he sits on it and does not serve it to Walmart until 1126. Why? Well, I think I know why, but so the next date. Let me pull this back up. What the heck? Then they have another presser on 1120, and we get to hear from ISP Willis talking about this stuff takes time, yada, yada, yada. Time. Okay, great. We got it. Then it should have taken time. Nope. And in fact, it doesn't take time. On 1121. So on 1120, that was the second presser. And when Jay and Ann Taylor oral argue again, and they actually put it in a motion, and it says that on 1120, they had the sample STR. And that's when it was, so they had this and they pulled it. Their words are saying that they were going to have the ISP lab do it, but then they pulled it from them and they gave it over to the FBI. Okay. And so again, great. Because that's when they're saying that they begin the IGG work. Well, I'm calling bullshit on that because I believe that they had Brian Kohlberger's name between 1120 and 1124. Reason being is because of the way that the investigation went with the search warrants, as well as the telling Washington. They told Washington and other law enforcement agencies when they came out to us and told us that they were looking for a 2011 to 2013. That's not what they did to Washington and in other local areas that they were telling people to be on the lookout. And they put it in the PCA that way. They said that we just told them to be on the lookout for a white Elantra. Why? Where are you getting that from? And that's the question that Jay and Ann asked. They said, what video are you seeing this white Elantra that you are saying that, like, you could say a car looks like something, but did you tell Washington to be on the lookout for, a white Elantra, a white Civic, and a white Honda Accord? Like, how? So, and then they were asking, like, what came first? Did you zero in on our client because of the tip, Brian Kohlberger, from the IGG stuff? Or did you follow this fucking car, But it's all right there. Walmart. When you follow Walmart, they are going for a little bit of a touch DNA kind of thing. Oh, but okay. And we're going to put all of our, eggs in one basket here and go so hard for what? And you have to fill these out. I mean, you have to give probable causes to. So right here, all open and closed accounts, all records pertain to the individuals or business entities identified in this letter. So when they were doing this, you guys, it's not like they're giving up account names to search and see if anybody bought these items. So what names were they giving up? Like, that's the part that's redacted. Right here, Amazon, 1126. So much so that they are so specific. Walmart. Now, again, you guys go ahead and read off everything that you want about it. I'm not going to do that. And I mean, okay. So, and then if Amazon would have given you back what you needed, the date that they got their return and everything was on 12/8. Okay. They clearly go out and get, well,
I would just think you can get those anywhere.
I'll let it play out.
But sounds good. Next up, Walmart gets back to them though relatively quickly. Oh wait, I'm sorry. Actually, let me back up. He obtained it on 11/21. Then they had to talk amongst each other. Then they had to talk amongst each other to say, wait, hold on. We have to strategically do these search warrants so that we don't give it away that we are totally knowing who our perpetrator is already. And how do we know that? So he obtains the search warrant, but does not serve it until 11/28. Why? Because we can't go so quick, so fast, and then it's going to give it away. That return would come back on 12/9. Okay. But at the same time that they went ahead and served Walmart, they went ahead on November 26th. Okay. And they served Amazon. So the warrant was served November 26th. They obtained the search warrant on November 26th. They got the return, meaning Amazon got back to us on 12/8. Right. Now, the description down here, everything that they were looking for. Then they got creative and they're like, hey, we can go ahead and just make sure that we do these. Hey, we're gonna need some more time to fill the return. We haven't gotten it yet. Now, I'm not gonna sit here and go through how crazy this is, but
what I should have.
These dates you're gonna see are so FUCK'd that they may have some issues with the legality of these. They obtained it 11/29, they got it back and served it 11/29, and then the returns came back saying, this is the information that we got you.
So then they went to K-Bar. So like they're doing all of these, going to online retailers and getting all this information. But you guys, they're pumping in what's redacted is you just don't go to K-Bar or you just don't go to Amazon and say, hey, we need anybody that's purchased a knife. Here you go. That's not how that works. You have to be specific. You have to be specific. And when you do that, it's like, okay, what to me seems specific is if I was to give certain names because their DNA was in the house, right? So that to me would make sense. Like if I went with all the males here, all the males that we've, people have given their DNA, it's in the house. Let's go ahead and we're going to write all these names down. We're going to add the women too. Okay. And we're going to see if they have any accounts with these people, right? I mean, right. I don't see how Amazon or any place is just going to be like, or how is it not, you have to have it be specific. And so if we're able to say that, hey, these people's DNAs were in that house, this is right where the crime scene was, I think that would give you probable cause to obtain a search warrant to see if they had bought a knife, right? That's what I would think. So the question is when you did this, did you give them a list of all of the names of the people that said that they were in the house? You found their DNAs in the house? How'd you do that? Or was it just, did you just give a couple names? Was Brian Kober one of the names? And what judge is going to look at it and say, and ask you like, okay, so you're saying, you're telling me that this person's, whatever your affidavit says, it's, it's on the up and up. That's why Delphi is having that Franks hearing. Okay. Because people were not being honest with their affidavits. And therefore that would be like illegal, how they obtained a search warrant. You lied. Okay. So, but I was paying attention to all these dates.
12/2. Now, eBay. Same day, November 26th. We're serving a search warrant or trying to obtain a search warrant from eBay. Oh, wait, that would be one day after what? That's one day after they talked to Washington State University and tell them to be on the lookout for what? Oh, wait, a white Elantra. Wait a second. Oh, wait, that's after this. That's after this one, Amazon, the 26th. Oh, so on the 25th, they tell Washington to be on the lookout for a white Elantra. But Walmart here is the only one out of any of them for the knives that was actually right before they released this name to, or I shouldn't say name, but the white Elantra out to WSU. Wait, but what does he do? He hangs on to it though and does not serve it until 11/28. Why? Because we can't fucking blow up our fucking own spot.
Again, that's my thoughts there. Point being is they were so adamant that this person, whoever did this, purchased this knife recently. Who the fuck is gonna go purchase a knife and have a huge paper trail and then just like go commit murder and then just what? Like, I just okay. All right. Well, how did you so this whole time where is this White Elantra? Where are you getting the name White Elantra from? What? You cannot say Linda Lane. Fuck Linda Lane. You could take Linda Lane and shove up your fucking ass. That's not where you got it from. We've all watched Linda Lane. You can't tell Dick from Linda Lane. Okay? You can't tell. There's no way. And please play Linda Lane for the fucking jury and sit here and say, yeah, that car is circling 3 times. That's a White Elantra. I think anybody's going to look at you, unless you're paying them, going to think you're crazy. Okay? So again, to sit here and say, White Elantra, be out on the lookout for White Elantra, local law enforcement. What? What about the fucking DoorDash car? You didn't even know about DoorDash yet, right? So why wouldn't it be that car that you're on the lookout for? What the fuck was a DoorDash driver driving? You don't even know. You're not even going for a search warrant for DoorDash until 12/6. So why wouldn't they be on the lookout? It's at the same time. It's at the same time at 4. What about that car? Be on the lookout for that car. I mean, just completely craziness. Well, but if you already know something, so if they did do IGG so quickly and boom, here you go, we got this name, then you Google him. Okay, he goes, he goes to that school. Oh wait, he drives a White Elantra. That's how you would do that. That's how that would happen. Not any of that shit that they wrote in that PCA, but like nothing is even being processed back. So 1125. What can you possibly be putting in these search warrants? Who are you listing that you want to get this information on? Who are you listing? Hey, we want a search warrant for what? What is it specific with and who? Okay, yeah, we want to know all the damn knives you sold because based on that sheath. Okay, well, there's a sheath there. No offense, but it doesn't mean that that's the murder weapon. The ME, the ME has not brought back her report. You have no idea what the wounds are. You have no idea. What if there's another knife? What if these stab wounds or something else? Okay. So here you're just putting all your eggs in one basket and going for this. This has to be. They wouldn't know that. Nobody knows that. You'd want to talk to the ME and say, hey, can we talk we want to get some search warrants going here. Should we be trying to get something else? Do you think is there any type of communication between, the ME and local law enforcement or the feds come on. And then you have Mr. Gonsalves coming out and saying that the points of damage don't match and that this was. So it's just because you have a sheath there doesn't mean that that's the knife that did it. You don't have the murder weapon. But they're all honed in on putting in search warrants that we're going after this specific knife just because that sheath. Well, that sheath could have been covering a bunch of different knives, to be honest. So that's fact. But here, this doesn't seem to me like, what about the hoodie guy? Where's anything to do with, where's the damn search warrant of, I don't know, that damn food truck? Let's look in that food truck. Do you care if we check out your food truck? Maybe I'm just saying, what about the hoodie guy? Did you get a search warrant for his place? Did you look in his apartment? What about a search warrant for Jack D's place? Like, there's blood. We need to get into people's places to see if there's blood, right? Right. They say to themselves, hey, we have to have other people connect our dots. So we're going to release, because we already have the name Bryan Kohberger. Once we got the name Bryan Kohberger from our FBI/IGG person / if that even fucking happened, we got this, and let's just for argument's sakes by 11/24. Then what do you start doing? Well, we start Googling the person. Who is this person? Oh, well, he's a professor here. He does this. He does this. We're going to put him through our database. What's going to come up? Oh, wait, he was pulled over twice. We get his phone number. Oh, we have his phone number? Then what can we do?
once we have his phone number. Oh, we can do what we did with all the other shit with the numbers that we have, right? We can go ahead and look at the towers. Was this number around the towers? Oh, no, it wasn't. But you're going to start Googling him. You're going to start looking him up. Oh, wait, he applied for this. Oh, wait, he's in this program. Oh, wait, he went to this school. All of these things, you're going to go to his social media. You're going to be able to do all of this. And that's exactly what they started to do. So much so that they took that PCA and they put it into a completely different order so that we wouldn't know, nor would Ann Taylor, what they actually did in the order that they did it. So this means at this point, they say, how can we not blow up our own spot? Okay, here, we find out that he has this Elantra. It's registered at the school because that's where he's at the school. Let's go ahead and put it out there that we were looking for this vehicle. They don't tell WSU a 2011, 2013, read the PCA. They say, we tell WSU that we're looking for a white Elantra. We're going to let those little fucking peons, campus police, go find our fucking shit. And that's exactly what they did. So they could use it in where? Oh, they came and told us about Brian Kohlberger too. You know, no. But that's exactly what they did. But let's also pay attention to these very, very, very important dates that are about to come up. So 11/25, the name Brian Kohlberger is known to authorities, but they put it out there that they're looking for the vehicle that he drives. Okay, great. Now, eBay, K-Bar, and the stuff that was interesting about eBay, there's two of them. eBay, 26th, serve it on the 26th, they get it back on 11/28. Okay, they're just going ham over these knives because guess what? We have to, you guys have to figure out a way to get to Brian Kohlberger and you cannot use us. Meaning A, either we're setting him up or we unethically obtained his, wait, I'm gonna tell you this right now. I don't think that would have happened that fast, but they're gonna use IGG as their front and cover as to how they did this. So November 26th, they hit up eBay. eBay returns the search warrant to them by 11/28. They decide that with what they got back, and you need to actually go and look at this stuff, that they were gonna serve a second one on 11/28. We are going to go for a second one. They serve it. They get it back on 11/29. And on this one, for information regarding the following eBay users, because remember I told you guys, you have to be specific. You're not just going to be able to go and get these search warrants and just say, hey, I want everything to do with this, that, and the other. Excuse me. No, it's not how that works. So much so that these user accounts that they wanted, which let's think about it. If I was going to try to obtain a search warrant, I want some of these guys mixed in with some of these other guys, and we put those down. Here's what it yielded. This is the United States. This is the state, and this is how many were purchased during the time that they want, we're looking for. They wanted account information for the above named eBay user IDs. Who were these eBay user IDs? Moving on. Oh, K-Bar. All right, do you guys see what we're saying here? This is all in order, and they're giving names up, but that's the part that's redacted on who they wanted these returns on. So, and it was multiple people that they wanted to know if they were buying knives. K-Bar on 11/29, got the warrant, served it, 12/2. Now this is where it gets interesting. Watch where this completely goes. Watch where this completely goes. Ready? Take a look at how this completely starts changing. First thing is, on what they say is November 20th, 2022, I obtained a search warrant for Reddit. And I said to myself back in the day, I said, something is so off with that. Why is it even saying November 20th by accident? Okay, they're going to claim this is a typo. The warrant was served on December 1st. Well, guess what? That's outside of the 7 days. So this is automatically not even a valid search warrant. So number one, this is not valid. Number two is it says on December 19th, I received an email from Reddit, which contained the requested information. Whoopsies. I mean, whose Reddit account do you think they're going for? Well, they say they're going for Kaylee's, right? But there's also stuff that's blacked out, redacted. And if they wanted to see who Kaylee, they could just go on Reddit and see who she's talking to. They could ask her parents to get that, what is it, her password, right? Or is this their back end way to see who Kaylee was corresponding with? But why was it that they made a mistake and acted like they wanted to try to get this on November 20th? How could this possibly be a typo of November 20th? Well, it's because it wasn't. You were going to try to go get it on November 20th, but then you realize that, fuck, we can't do that right now because that would blow up your what? Like, we have to do things in a certain order so that we don't fucking give it away. We don't tell the world, basically, with this timeline of when we go and obtain things, truly how we got to where we're getting. But that typo right there, That's your $1 million. That's the money shot. Period. That's money. It will prove Ann Taylor's case of them zeroing in on her client and why. Kaylee, her name is not crossed off or anything like that. But they wanted the Reddit account that was associated with these are identifiers. Kaylee, mobile phone number, this, email addresses, these. Okay. And again, they wanted this, I think at one point 11:20, but then they had to go ahead and switch it up. Okay, 12:1, whatever. At the end of the day, they then did a extension. Very, very weird. But why would they go for Kaylee's Reddit account? What on 12:1 or 11:20? Why would Kaylee's Reddit account be so sought after at that point? I mean, all the things that would be going on in this investigation. Okay, even now 12:1, we're getting search warrants for Kaylee's Reddit. We'll go ahead and check out the PCA. What do they bring up? Brian Kohlberger's Reddit, and then it was accessible by, it just publicly can be seen that they were able to find this Reddit account. Okay. Next. On the same day that they wanted Kaylee's Reddit account, they go and they want Kaylee's Yahoo account. December 1st. On December 2nd, I received an email from Yahoo. Man, how do you know that it was Kaylee's Yahoo account? Well, I like to consider myself a smart female. There you go. But what else did they want? Kaylee's Yahoo account with email addresses, blank, 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 from August, this is this, da, da, da. The contents of all emails associated with this account from August 1st, 2022 to November 19th, 2022. What about like Ethan's counts? What about Maddie's? I mean, so. All right, back at it. So again, this Yahoo account, why would that be so important at that point in time? Okay. Next up, 12:2. I'm going to answer this actually by Drunk Turkey. Drunk Turkey, this is what I'm showing. This is not speculation. Okay. This is the order on what these officers and detectives deemed this is of priority. This is where we're going with things. Okay. This is how we're running an investigation. This is who we are seeking out. These are the items we're seeking out. And this is the order that we did it, that we deemed it was this important. And so let that sink in. This is not speculation. These are the dates. These are the timestamps. This is what they did while they were writing out their everyday, here, this is what we are. This is what the public thinks that we're doing. Okay. We haven't even gotten to the way to launch yet. So this is a learning experience. Take it or leave it. 12:2. I obtained an amended search warrant for UPS. Everybody this whole time has said, oh, it's to look at the house, the 1122. No, it's not. That's not it at all. UPS. Why did they want the UPS camera? Why? Well, they wanted the one from Pullman, Washington. They wanted Brian Kohlberger's shit. That's what this is. They wanted all these online purchases. They're looking for online purchases that they think the sheath and the knife was purchased online. So what do they want? They're going to go and get, well, this United Parcel Service. We're going to go UPS. What do we want? We want a video. We want a video. Can't beat the dates. 12:2. I obtained a search warrant. UPS. On 12:5, I received my email from UPS. What did you receive back? Delivery truck video. Delivery truck video. Moving on. 12:6. I obtained a search warrant for DoorDash. DoorDash. Put it on the 6th, or asked for it on the 6th, obtained it. Now think about this, guys. If in fact you're watching the videos, like you say you are, you're hawking these videos because you are finding out who, like you have to find out all these different cars, makes, models, all this stuff. You come to the DoorDash or you come to this vehicle. If you're actually interviewing the roommates and they're like, oh yeah, they ordered a DoorDash that night. You don't go to get this DoorDash until 12:06. So when did the word DoorDash first actually, when was it ever said? Fuck, was there even a DoorDash? You know what I mean? Like, what in the actual? All right. Point being is that 11:13 is the murders. 12:06, and you said that you're stalking these cameras, that you don't know that there's a DoorDash until 12:06, and you're talking to these roommates. The fuck out of here. How would that not be of utmost importance? Oh my God, could this be the DoorDash person that's fucking doing that? I mean, what? Who was the DoorDash person? You know? And then what they want in the DoorDash is wild. They just want to know everybody that's delivered a DoorDash. So this whole time, is it that, you know, did they really get a, this is just wild to me. 12/6. So nobody said that right away. Think about it. How did you figure out that there's a DoorDash? Then served it on the 6th, and then DoorDash got back to us on the 7th. Wait, you're telling me that you didn't go and get the DoorDash, anything to do with the DoorDash until 12/6? The murders were on 11/13. These roommates didn't tell you that there was a DoorDash, that anybody ordered a DoorDash? You went for, think about all the things that were sought out before DoorDash here. Moving on.
Ridiculous.
December 12th, Extreme Networks. December 14th, I received an email from, it's a guy from Post Falls, but we know that it's all to do with Kaylee's laptop. Oh, wait, let me ask you guys a question. If eBay would have returned something, if Amazon would have returned something, would you have ever done this? On December 12th, 2022, I obtained a search warrant for Blue Ridge Knives. The 12th, look at, why? Because the returns had already come back and everything else, and there was nothing. Nothing. Okay? If you would have found something at Walmart, if you would have found something at Amazon, if you would have found something through eBay, why would you continue to look for a knife and a knife sheath if you've already found it? If it matched any of your peeps, any of your suspects? Again, the warrant was obtained on the 12th. The warrant was served on December 13th, and on 12/16, I received an email, Blue Ridge Knives, which contained the requested information. Mind you guys, Brian, already in Pennsylvania by that point. Brian, 12/13, was seen on a camera video of his license plate with, driving back through Colorado. Then he's pulled over twice, but that was just by accident.
Think about this, guys. They are following Brian Kohlberger while they are searching for the knives to see who bought them. They are following him through the hills of Colorado, to the hills and the rolling flatlands of Indiana, pulling him over for totally a reason, okay? Maybe he'll like flee, you know what I mean? Give us like, but a man does not get pulled over. Do you guys know how many times Brian Kohlberger was pulled over in a couple month period? I just can't. I'm sorry. Anyways, this was just for me to touch base with you guys on this lovely Monday. I got so much stuff to do, but I wanted to come out here. I wanted to say hi to those that do my daytime stuff. I'm literally round the clock. I think I've slept just a couple hours a day for the past, I don't even know. But the point is that if you ever think that my videos are like long or something, no, it's just so informative. But just go ahead and speed it up 7 times. It's perfect. You can enjoy me at this pace. Okay. But I put it all in order for you guys. It's to show exactly how
Blue Ridge Knives brings the receipts, though.
Worked it. And let me tell you something. You worked it this way. They worked it this way because that's how they were able to obtain a search warrant and a warrant to arrest him on the day that they did. They had all this other shit, okay? That was their investigation into Brian Kohlberger began 11/20, okay, 11/24 at the absolute latest. They had his name. They were given his name. They had to work backwards because they could not cough up how they got his name, okay? Now, it's going to come out that Brian Kohlberger, in some type of fashion, was working, in my humble opinion, with law enforcement, whether it's with the feds, whether it's with Pullman, whether it's with who the fuck knows. But Brian Kohlberger is 100% a candidate, and you would accept him on your task force. You know why? Because he was doing it in PA. He has the credentials. He has the experience. He has the people that are going to write whatever you want them to write about to say that you should hire this man, just like Washington should take him on as a PhD student. So now the question is when you want to say why Brian Kohlberger, well, what the fuck did Brian Kohlberger know? Because that is where this is going. That's where my investigation is going, is what did Brian Kohlberger know? What did anybody in that house know? And the investigation that I uncovered is the links that kept coming up when you're doing Brian Kohlberger and Kaylee. That's the links I'm seeing because they weren't going after anybody else's communications. Okay.
It is what it is. But you break it down, and you could eventually maybe get to Brian Koberger, okay, if he really did do it. And then the exclamation point at the end is, if people had to do unethical things to get a murderer that committed, 4 murders, could I maybe look the other way? And even though you violated people's rights and blah, blah, blah. Yes. If it meant that, this person would be off the streets, but guess what it also mean? It mean that once you had this DNA, that you were able to get to that name, and we're able to get into his car, and we're able to get into his apartment and his house, there better be a fucking firework going off. Like all this blood, DNA, there better be stuff. You wanted to go about it and get his name that way. Well, okay, let's just double check our work. So let's just go and get the search warrant for his car. Let's get the search warrant for his apartment. Let's put the victims in his orbit with their DNA. Then we arrest him. But when it comes back and there wouldn't be that, so if you did all of this stuff, like you say, through IgG and we use the loophole, there should still be, it's still when you add 5 + 5 and you write 10, you're still going to get the right answer. Even if somebody cheated and gave you the 10, it's still right? So they cheated and they used a loophole and they gave you this name because somebody had opted out of the program or whatever. Let's even say that that's how it happened. The end result, though, would be right. You cheated to get the right answer, right? Okay, awesome. Well, guess what? Your right answer, though, there's no fucking proof of your right answer because it's not saying that it's right. There is no blood in his car. There is no blood in his house. There is no DNA in his house. There's no DNA in his car. There is nothing that takes the 10 when you add 5 and 5 that we cheated to get 10, okay, because we used a loophole that we weren't supposed to use. But guess what? We're going to have all the proof, though. Once we do this, we're going to see all the DNA is going to be there, and this is going to be there, and that's going to be there. But it's not. It's not. And that PCA proves that it's not. Oh, Lana, just wait. They're not going to play their hand. Okay. Well, I'm still waiting. I'm still waiting. But right now, let's see what we've been waiting for. We waited for a preliminary hearing. That didn't happen, right? So what are we going to wait for now? Oh, wait, now we have a whole bunch of fuckerage going on and leaks with the grand jury and this, that, and the other. Enjoy the rest of the show. Run it back. We'll see you soon on the flip side. And make sure you guys catch tonight, Add to the Stage, Caucasian male orally culp that had been beaten apparently with a baseball bat. He was then rushed to the hospital. Francis Murphy indicated that morning he had went to Hardee's and picked up a sandwich and then drove over to Orly Culp's residence. When he had got to the front of the residence, he noticed that Orly was not standing out front like he normally would be. So he got out of his vehicle and went to the side door located on the south side of the residence. Francis stated that as he opened the screen door, he noticed that the plexiglass was broken out of the wooden door that enters into the kitchen. Francis stated that at that point he realized something was wrong, so he ran out in the front of the house and yelled for help. A gentleman who was delivering flowers went back to Orly's residence with Francis, and they found Orly laying on the living room floor. Francis advised that the gentleman he asked for help told Francis that Orly was still alive and told Francis to go call for help. Francis stated that he then realized that the telephone cord had been pulled loose from the wall, thus the phone did not work. Francis stated that he went to a neighbor's to use the phone to call for an ambulance. After receiving all this information from Francis Murphy, Detective Grimshaw and another detective told Francis Murphy that we would be contacting him for a more in-depth interview. At approximately 11:15 a.m., Detective Grimshaw began to process the crime scene. When Grimshaw arrived at the residence, he did notice that the house and yard area of Orly Cups had been cornered off by yellow tape indicating police line